I got told two of the most trifling things that I've ever heard in my life around the time that my son was born. And I'm going to share it with you guys, not to shock you guys, but there's something that I want you to take away from it. So, last year in 2024, in February, my wife gave me the best gift that I've ever gotten in my life, and that is our firstborn son. And you know what happens when a baby is born. You know, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the friends, the family, a lot of people get excited. You know, I get all types of comments on my son, you know, how cute he is, how he looks like my wife, how he looks like me, yada, yada, yada. But within those comments, there were two comments that really stuck out and stabbed me in my ears because of how inappropriate, trifling, disgusting, evil, everything bad. So without further ado, comment number one came from a friend. He said, "Oh, I can't wait to make your son gay." How do you plan on? I didn't say anything. I don't even remember how I responded, because it's really hard to respond appropriately to an inappropriate comment. You know what I'm saying? And that made me feel uncomfortable, and I feel like I have a right to feel uncomfortable as the father, because you can only imagine what methods does he plan on using to make my son gay, to make him gay. You have to imagine all the horrible things that ran through my head when my friend told me that. But I didn't get angry, and I didn't, demand that he respect my son. I didn't demand that he stop saying such trifling things, and I'll tell you why later, after I tell you comment number two. Now, when he saw my son for the first time, he said, "Oh my gosh, your son is so cute, I can't wait to molest him." That is light years worse than the first comment, and he's just painting an even more vivid picture in my head of the types of things that he would do to my son. That's just disgusting, trifling, inappropriate, every bad word you can think of. But I didn't get angry, and I didn't, demand respect, and I didn't tell him to stop being so trifling. I'm going to tell you a few reasons why, guys. Here's where the morals of the stories come in. Here's moral number one. Just because something is a joke doesn't mean it is not true. Doesn't mean it is false. Doesn't mean that it would never happen. I honestly think some of the funniest jokes that we laugh at are the jokes that are funny because they're true. And let's look at comedians and what they do. Comedians, they're just telling us their opinion in the form of a joke. Their opinion about situations that they've been in the past, their opinion about the world around them, their opinion about politics, all sorts of stuff. They're just doing it on a stage in the form of a joke, but they're telling us what they think. And so I would be a fool to take their jokes and be like, haha, that's funny. They would never do that. No, I believe that they would actually do those things, because here's the second moral to the story. If you're a good listener, and I'm not saying I'm a good listener, but I'm trying to become a better listener. But if you're a good listener and let people talk long enough, they will tell you exactly who they are and exactly what they're up to. And that's very valuable information, because you really need to know what type of boundaries you have to put up around the people around you. While I still consider them friends and I still want to continue our friendly relationship, I know that I need to set up these boundaries. Because listen, just because you're friends doesn't mean you have to have like unlimited access to each other's lives. That's not what it means. You can have friends that you trust with certain parts of your life and just not trust with certain parts of your life. And I'm not going to stop being their friends, because I'm a Christian who's practicing loving everybody. But that's moral number two. Let people talk long enough, they'll tell you exactly who they are. Straight up. Don't put a lid on what people are saying. And that's moral number three. Moral number three is we need to rethink what disrespect is and how we should handle it. A lot of people will listen to this story and say, "Oh my gosh, Caleb's friends just disrespected him with those comments." But while those comments were very trifling and disrespectful, I don't respond to disrespect with anger or getting aggressive or demanding respect or anything like that, because I know that disrespect isn't my problem. It's the disrespectful person's problem. I don't want to just spark an argument because my pride got hurt, because somebody said something disrespectful to me, and then just put a lid, put a cap, put a filter on that person's mouth, because I want them to keep telling me how trifling they are. I want them to keep telling me what is going on in their head, what their intentions are. Because listen, think back to when you were a child. When your parents scolded you for doing something bad, did you stop immediately, or did you just continue doing that thing in secret? I'm sure a lot of us did those things in secret, until we learned our lesson the hard way. I think that's what would happen if I got angry, like, how dare you say something about my son like that? That's trifling. You're trifling. They'll probably just, be like, oh, I shouldn't say that around Caleb. But I'm not really sure if their intentions would change immediately. Moral number 4, we all got to be careful about who we let around our children. All these disgusting child molesters were once people who the community considered trustworthy adults, who the community considered people who could be left alone with children. Whether this happened at church, whether this happened at camp, whether this happened when you had some alone time with your basketball coach, it can happen anywhere. It can even happen within your family. I have some friends who were touched by their uncles even. You really gotta be careful who you let around your children. Sickness has signs. Don't ignore the signs. And be very, very careful about who you let around your children. Ultimately, and it's gonna sound weird, I'm happy that they told me how trifling they are, how disgusting they are, what their intentions are, because they're telling me, hey Caleb, don't let us spend any quality time with your son, because if you do, we will most likely touch him inappropriately. They're letting me know, and I appreciate that. I don't want to be blindsided by my child, one day telling me that some adult that I trusted touched them inappropriately. I'm happy that they're telling me don't trust us with your children, period. And I don't want to put a lid on any of that. I let people say whatever they want to me. People being disrespectful is not my problem. That's their problem. And they're going to suffer for it one day, if they keep going down the path that they go down. I might change my mind in the future. I might start putting people in their place. But as of right now, I'm like, yeah, tell me everything that you're thinking right now. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to, yell at you. I'm not going to tell you that you're trifling. I'm not going to condemn you. I'm going to let you say what you need to say so that I know how to treat you and so that I know exactly what boundaries I need to put up. Straight up. So that's the story, guys. I hope you learned something. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the future. Peace.